Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Toga Gambe. I'm a Senior Wealth Manager with Holborn. And then I'm also joined by Udal Spencer, who is our long-term and most loyal, one of our most loyal, if not the most loyal partners when it comes to UK property. And we're excited for you to join us today. UK property is one of the most stable alternative assets that anybody can add into their portfolio. And Udal is going to show you some options that can allow you to add UK property into your portfolio. Over to you, Udal.
Oh, thank you very much, Terry. You always build me up so big, don't you? Gosh, I've got big expectations now to live up to on this presentation. But thank you very much for the welcome, as always. So my name is Udal. I work for Prosperity Wealth and Developments in the UK, based in Birmingham, Birmingham-based developer, and I pretty much look after a lot of overseas clients that always aspire and want to get access or have a desire to invest in the UK, but don't know how to. Now, I believe, and I'm a strong believer, Prosperity's model, the way it's structured, is one of the easiest, safest, transparent ways of gaining access to the UK property market and using property to build your further wealth. Now, we're going to go into some of the USPs and the products in a short while, but definitely, we want you to definitely reach out to Thierry and his team after the meeting to make sure that we can talk to you about your specific requirements and how we can obviously help you reach your goals and how we can strengthen your existing retirement portfolio by adding robust bricks and mortar from the UK. So I've got a presentation here that I'm going to share with you all today, just again to show you our background, our group, also the credibility of our group, because I think that's really important in today's markets, of course, when you're dealing with real estate. We're then going to touch base on some of the completed sites that we've done, and then we're going to get straight into the USPs of why we feel this structure is so great for overseas to get you access to the market. And then I've got two products today that I'm going to give you a slight glimpse of, just to show you what we're up to in regards to development and what type of development we're bringing forward to give people, a great offering to build their portfolios. So I'm going to share my slides now, and we'll get straight into it, guys. Okay. Can you see that, Thierry? Is that okay? Has it come up well?
Yes, it's just come up.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Okay, so this is a picture backdrop of Birmingham. Obviously, being a Birmingham-based developer, with all the infrastructure changes and developments that's going on right now in the city, it's such an interesting place. You can obviously see some cranes across the skyline there as well, which is really interesting as things are changing every day in Birmingham. It's obviously fantastic to see. So, Prosperity Group. Now, I've been with Prosperity Group 10 years. This company's been running now since 2007. The beautiful thing is, the reason why I want to show this slide, we're not just a developer. The developing side is obviously our main forte, of course, but we have other businesses within the Prosperity Group to ensure that transactions and client journeys run as smooth as possible, as well as client care after, obviously, post handover, and also rental management and all the other offerings as well. So I like to say that we are the kind of one-stop shop offering for a busy investor that doesn't have the time to maybe have all these hands-on things, or your first-time investor that doesn't quite know the UK conveyancers or the UK mortgage market, or securing and selecting a real estate agent to rent out the property at the end. So we have all these things in house to pull together and recommend you to once we're going through that purchasing journey from start to finish. So just to kind of give you a quick overview of the Prosperity Group. So again, as I was saying, we've been going now since 2007. We have Prosperity Developments that look after all the apartments and city living apartments, high rises that we do in urban locations. And then the second arm is Prosperity Homes, which is the freehold housing development. So we also do freehold houses too, which carries along with a payment plan in areas like Greater Cambridge, which is a commute about up to down to Cambridge. Prosperity Wealth is the client-facing business, and that's the business that I represent. That's kind of like all of the materials, the USPs, the product. Within Prosperity Wealth, we're the ones that do the instructions and take the reservations. We do the instructions to the legal conveyancing panels. And also we've got an in-house mortgage arrangement team as well that look after expats, foreign nationals and owner-occupiers. So not to worry if you feel that you've never invested in the UK before. Like I said, the audience that I look after has always been overseas. So as far as Asia, South African regions and African regions as well. And obviously the Middle East is a big area for us that we do a lot of business. So Sharia compliance, we do all sorts of different offerings to make sure that we can help those clients finance that at the end. We have Block, which is one of our newer businesses, companies within the group. Block is our new block management business. So this will become more relevant to you as you post completion and get through the process. This is the companies that obviously looks after the block management. So the companies that charge the service charges, etc. So we've launched this business now to make sure that we can look after the buildings and give them great maintenance and aftercare post completion, which is fantastic, instead of handing it out to a third party, of course. When you've gone through your reservation, your legal instructions, then you've done your mortgages, the developers built it, we come to the end, we come to completion, and then you're going to need a rental management company then to look after the rental income, but also, most importantly, find and secure that most reliable, profiled, professional working tenant. And as much as we like to say that we is there such thing, of course there is such thing, but we make sure that we go for all the references and make sure that we do all the background checks to kind of find the right people that, you know, can live in our little boxes and give us the monthly income so we can pay for the property. That's the kind of spectrum of the Prosperity offering. So we do take you through the whole of the process. These last two are not really relevant to our client journey, but Prosperity Vita is our social housing development. So that's a regulated department that looks after social housing. So we have got a department now that offers affordable rent. So when we launch new build projects, we've got the councils that lean us for allocations of certain things. We like to take control of stuff. So we launch that department to look after that area ourselves. And then Prosperity Living is all about the build to rent sector, which are these big buildings that are being built solely for the rental income. So that's, again, it's completely separate to the residential side. But just to show you the offering in its entirety, so you can see how big our group is, to make sure that we can maintain you as we help you grow your portfolio and wealth with Holborn and Prosperity as a property provider. Now moving in, again, I like this slide because I really like to show people the credibility of kind of developer who they're dealing with. And I think that's really important. You know, you're more than welcome to check out the Prosperity Wealth, prosperity-wealth.co.uk website to check out our updates and our news in regards to developments in the construction at the moment, etc. And obviously look through all our bit of news and social medias. But this is to kind of show you and give you a bit of a snapshot of what we're doing and how we've been going about things. So we are Birmingham's largest homegrown residential developer. So we are the biggest developer in the UK outside of London. And that's, you know, we say that with conviction, and it's a nice thing to say because we've done over 5,500 units, homes since 2007, which is a fantastic track record. 3,000 of those homes now and approaching are Birmingham centric, which is incredible. UK second city. There's a lot of, if anyone knows the planning process, it takes a lot to develop in the big cities because there's so many red tape and hoops and things to jump through. It's unreal. Now we've started to develop the country homes. So as I said before, we're in Greater Cambridge, which is a commute about to Cambridge. Again, a fantastic location. We've just acquired another site, which we're going to be doing X amount of homes over that way as well, which is fantastic. And also our third offering. So we have new build city centre homes, which is our suburban living, and then we have PDR conversion builds. So the PDR conversion builds are conversion buildings that are obviously previously stood, which will once upon a time retail or office space, and we get the planning permission to turn those into luxury apartments to serve the city centres and the working professional demand in those areas. So we are one of the largest national providers of PDR conversion builds as well. So that's to show you Prosperity, who we are, track record, etc., etc. This slide, and I know that I showed Terry this slide not so long ago, and I do need to have a bit of a catch up in regards to the figures, sorry, because we're now over 52 developments nationwide, schemes up and down the UK, as far as West Yorkshire and as southern as Southend-on-Sea. So we're pretty much scattered around the UK. We don't go into London. Obvious reasons why we don't. We find that it's far too expensive for an investor product for us. And also we ventured in and around Liverpool, not quite gone into Manchester, but Birmingham, Nottingham, East Midlands, and that East Midlands corridor down to Cambridge is obviously, that's our bag. That's our area, because we know that brings the best capital appreciation, the best rental yields, great products. It's on a commuter belt. We have high migration rates of people with that want to move to these locations for affordable rents, but also big employers as well are located in these areas, which is fantastic. So we continue on doing our searches for those locations to make sure that we can bring good products to the table for our investors that do come back and buy again and again and again. And that's what we want to do. 2024 was, I still can't believe how fast this year has gone. It's crazy, Terry. We're sitting here in our last quarter of the year, 2025, and we had a very successful year in 2024. This was nearly 800 completions. So 800 legal completions of sites going through the process where people are handing over. We had 2 in Birmingham here, JQ Rise and Parkview. These were 2 signature developments. We had 1 phase complete at Broadoaks, and we've had phases ever since. The neighbourhood was a mixture of apartments and houses right in the centre of Nottingham. St Mary's was Chesterfield, a PDR conversion. This was another new build in Nottingham. And then Fargate House was a conversion build project in the centre of Sheffield, serving that community of young graduates and working professionals that have finished universities and finished their studies and are ready to kind of take on the world. So that's kind of our motivation, is to find locations. We don't just go to any old location and go, oh yeah, let's develop here just because there's always key drivers behind sites of why we feel it's going to be a compelling place to invest and to develop, because these developments obviously, they cost us millions to build. Terry, anything that I haven't covered? Is that okay so far in regards to track record, credibility for Prosperity? Anything else that you wanted me to cover or say before we move on to the next section? You're on mute. Sorry.
No, that's very good. But as I told you last week, I was in UK. I was in London in June. So I really want you to stress why being on the commuter belt is very, very key, because
Of course. Yeah.
I blew my budget taking Uber and public transport in London.
Oh my gosh.
I was not prepared as to how much I was going to spend just on transportation.
Yeah, of course, of course. That's it's very important, guys. And you know, I've just going on a personal note here. I think I've told Terry this story as well. I've purchased a house 7 miles out from Birmingham city centre. But we've been there like just over 2 years now. We've just had the remortgage that came up in the summer, and we've got a much better rate now, which is fantastic. And the property value's gone up, which is great. And it's all because we selected this location where we wanted to be that sits on a commuter belt to Birmingham city centre. And I think that's very important. When you've got good infrastructure surrounding you, great motorway links, train station, tram stops, accessibility to road and motorway networks. These are the things that really kind of drive the value of properties. And that's what Prosperity do. Prosperity are only looking for sites that we can acquire that have got the right things to make sure that it's a product to personally perform. And that's what it's all about. So I'm going to get a little bit more into that when we touch base on the Nottingham site in a short while, because we've got a Nottingham site, we've got a Birmingham site to show you. But the most important thing is I really wanted to talk to you, everybody, today about our golden USPs. Now, you know, a lot of people out there today are not sure, unaware that you can invest in a project or an investment property like the way we structure things, and I really want to kind of drill down on this to make sure that it's very clear with everyone that's trying to build wealth through using real estate. So I like to say we facilitate, we enable, we add value. The majority of them, the wealthiest people around the world today, guys, when you look at their retirement portfolios and their wealth, yes, they're going to have pensions, insurance plans, long-term savings plans, etc., etc. But we find that the common thing was real estate. Real estate is something that will work for you 365 days a year, wind, rain, snow, summer. It won't call in sick, and it will constantly grow. And that's the kind of vehicle that you want in your retirement portfolio. Instead of having people where they assume they need a huge lump sum or a whole entire life savings to access property investment, we have come with a concept where we completely fund our projects ourselves. So we don't rely on clients' deposits or budgets to do so, which really enables us to give them a structure to help them follow to build a deposit ready for their mortgage at the end. So just to kind of give you an idea how it works. So Thierry's a property investor. Thierry's got £60,000 life savings, some of it that is inherited, some that's worked very hard for, and things are going well, and he's, quite unsure what to do about it and how to go about investing in it and who to give it over to, etc., etc. We are a property developer that has got a robust track record, and we help you access prime location developments, all with using a regular savings plan for property, which is interest-free. So this is the structure of what a typical property investment would look like. So Thierry would be looking at an example, and this is just an example, guys, of £219,000 for a Birmingham property. We know that Birmingham's headline at the moment for capital appreciation is fantastic, and it's forecasted really well. To help Thierry, my client, access this specific property investment, we would ask for a 5% reservation deposit, which is this grey area down here, to lock in his purchase and his unit of choice. So that's a no lump sum deposit, guys. It's a 5% reservation deposit to secure the unit of choice. Then we also take an initial legal fee, which is £1,500. That's for your legal conveyancing, and that will take you all the way up to exchange of contracts. Now, because we understand and know if we're going to be completing, if Thierry is going to be completing with a mortgage at the end of this transaction, Thierry is going to need to have a deposit ready to go by the time we hand over. So the typical investment property deposits required in the UK that will give you a good rate, a good package, we would say anything in excess of 30%. So we're looking at 30 to 35% as a deposit. So what we do, whilst Thierry's obviously purchased and placed his 5% reservation deposit, we have a development timeline, guys, from this stage that goes over 24 to 30 months. And this is whilst the developer, Prosperity Developments, is actually building the site outright. So we turn up and we say to Thierry, we don't want you to give us all your life savings all at once, Thierry, but we know that your mortgage companies are going to require you to have such deposits ready and waiting for when we do complete. So let's get you on your process of making that savings and get you to where you need to be. So if Thierry's got the lump sum in his bank, great. If he hasn't, it doesn't matter because Thierry will be able to fund this from a monthly instalment perspective up until the completion of the project. So we start the process of building the site, which is 24 to 30 months. We provide the clients with an easy, affordable payment plan that mirrors that build schedule between 24 and 30 months, depending on the scheme and what project it is. So this is your remaining 25% deposit here, spread over 30 months as a monthly installment. This is interest-free, low commitments, low exposure. You follow the process. And guess what? Prosperity will always put the clients in the driving seat because what we do every single quarter of that build, we provide a quarterly development update to show the clients where we are in the timeline or where we are in the schedule, what's happening on site, what milestones have we achieved, what's happening next and how the site is progressing. And that will come from obviously our developments director or the director of the company, and they're very smart because it's just very transparent. So you know that things are progressing really well, you're making your savings, and things are going really good. This saves me putting £50,000 all up front at once and then sitting around waiting for something to be developed because that leaves you overexposed. So we like to keep this transparent, and this is a relationship because we know once you've done one, oh my God, Thierry is going to be back for his second and his third because it starts becoming an addiction how easy it is to build wealth through property with Prosperity. We get to completion, which is the blue area here. We start managing and researching the market around about 4 to 5 months before completion to start looking at the deals, looking at the rates, seeing what packages are available, looking at the interest rates, etc., to obviously get you to finance out at the end. That's the 30 and 35% payment plan structure with a balance at the end. That's how easy it is for our clients to access UK property investments. And guess what? When we are selecting locations like Nottingham and like Birmingham, we already know that there's a forecasted growth and capital appreciating, percentage that's going to happen, and it's going to compound over the years. So when Thierry has placed this 5% reservation and then he's paying less than 1% per month for the monthly installments, remember the headline value of this property and the pounds per square foot. If Birmingham is growing at 4% per annum, this means that you're taking advantage of the headline growth, not the capital employed, which is amazing. So we're giving you access to a headline figure in the next 5 years is going to have X amount of growth, including the completion and build stages. And you have only contributed a small commitment. So that's what we do. That's how we build wealth. Once you've obviously completed in it, you keep it for X amount of years, you can refinance, and then we can help you draw out equities to purchase your next property. And then we go again with the same structure. That's organic wealth building, and that's what we do. That's our specialist of what we do with our structure and how it all works. Thierry, is that clear? Is there any questions or anything that you want me to answer just in case I've missed anything for anybody today? I just want to make sure that that is clear for everyone and everyone understands that process, because that is the thing that makes us unique in the UK. There's no other developer that offers this structure to access the UK property market for property.
I know that's clear. So this is available on all your properties?
Correct. Yeah. So we have X amount of schemes going at one time. Obviously, we're introducing today the newest ones to the Holborn network and to your network. But yeah, this is how we work. This is the payment plan scheme. We help people reserve. We get them to an exchange of contracts. They're added onto land registry. They just follow their payment plan while we give them the updates, and then we help them complete. We help them secure the bank, where the bank borrows them the money, leverages the asset, whilst we get a tenant to pay down the asset, and then the asset grows. How beautiful is that? So yeah,
sweet deal.
Unfortunately, I'm a Prosperity client as well. So yeah, I'm talking from real line experience. They got me, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So that's a payment plan. This is open to anybody, anyone that's, wants to save, that wants to, do a regular savings and have a property at the end of it, at the end of every 2 years, building your wealth. Of course, this is what we do to help people get into UK property. I'm just going to put on my my share sounds, because the next slide is going to be. So this is a typical example of all figures and financials that we can provide to you also when we break everything down. So this is a typical example of a previous Birmingham project. You have a purchase price at the top, your legal fees, then you got your reservation stage, your 30 monthly installments for this project is 2,600. Completion stages, when we get to completion, you'll have your mortgage amounts, your mortgage arrangement fees, your stamp duty tax, etc., etc. Then we've got your annual income, what your annual income is, what the yields are, etc., etc. Oops. And then we go into what the expenses are for the project as well. So we have different levels of service for the management fees, but this is going for the fully managed process. But yeah, it's very interesting to see all the figures break down like this, so you can really understand the investment figures and what it's got to offer. But yeah, we can provide that on every single unit, so it's easy digestible. You can see what it's doing, what it's planned to do, and how we can help you get there. So that's a financial. Right. So that's the incredible payment plan USPs of Prosperity. People love it because it's just easy, straightforward, transparent, low exposure, low commitment, 0% interest. We're giving people a real opportunity. If you're very capital rich, very capital poor, but have the income, you can access UK property with Prosperity, because that's what we do. So our audience has gone from very small audience to now everyone's a client if they can afford to do a regular savings plan to get them into where they need to be. And remember, we have projects at all different levels and different prices as well. So we've got projects at all the different affordabilities. So it's very important to talk to Thierry after the call, maybe this week, to kind of really discuss your plans, your affordabilities, and we can really make a tailor-made plan for you to make sure that we reach your goals, because that's what it's all about. It's not one plan fits all. It's all about, being individual and how we can help you and assist you do that. this is the video of our first project. So this is Lakeside. This is a development that we've recently purchased, and we're doing the sales process on this now. We've recently launched this project, 106 units, and it's a fantastic site. It's a PDR conversion build. So it's a building that we found that was previously offices, and we've got the full planning permissions to convert it into luxury apartments, and it comes with the full amenities, guys. I'm going to talk to you more about it after you've seen this video. That's our introduction video to Lakeside. So this is, like I said before, it's a PDR conversion build project right in the heart of Nottingham, NG2 postcode. We're running a 24-month payment plan on this one. So we got a nice, long, easy, affordable payment plan that runs. The payment plan starts from as little as £1,700 per month. That's with a 5% reservation deposit down, and then you follow your payment plan structure for 24 months to accrue and build your buy-to-let mortgage deposit. Then obviously we leverage with the bank, find you a good rate, find you a good deal, hand over, and then secure a tenancy to pay for that property. The capital appreciation, as you can see here, the reason why we go to Nottingham is is the strongest city in the East Midlands, and we're always in Nottingham because it's such a great place. The demand for property is just absolutely mega. This is a 16% predicted growth by 2028. So 3 years, 16% growth. So we're looking at, what's that? Just over around about 5, just over 5% per annum growth of 164,995 or 149,995. Remember the concept of us saying that we give clients the opportunity to get in with a small, no lump sum deposit. You follow your payment plan, which is your own mortgage deposit anyway for your financing. But once you're locked in with your legal contracts and all your things, you're still taking advantage of the headline growth of 5% of the purchase price, guys. So this is not 5% or 16% growth of your £1,700 that you're making monthly installments, or the £50,000 that it's going to be at the end. This is of the headline. So when you work out the returns on capital employed, into something like this, and if you do it over a 5-year period, you're pretty much making your capital and your deposit back in 5 years when you invest in locations like this. That's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we do. Just amazing. So anyway, some of the nuts and crannies of this specific site. which is really good. We're really excited about this development. It's 1.9 miles away from the actual city central point. So we're looking at, it's close enough to the central of Nottingham, but enough to be away from the hustle and bustle of being right in the centre, which is great. And that's what we want, when you're getting great development like this. So Lakeside, it's set within its own grounds. So again, it's its own private community, all gated for security, etc. And we do have access to parking. So if you do require that you want a parking space, that you want to add that onto your investment, of course, we do parking. The parking is 10K per space. So if you do acquire and want parking with your apartment, we can help you acquire a parking space for your apartment. So when it does come to the resales, or later on when you're selling your apartment in 5 or 10 years time, you're not going to be up against someone that's got a parking space for a price that's very similar to yours, because you know that they're going to obviously always attract the investors or the purchasers over if you haven't got parking. So it's an option. It's an option for you to consider anyway. But as I was saying, it's a beautiful building. This building was previously an office block. So this was the old Experian building located in Nottingham, right by the retail parks. So yeah, the building already existingly stands, and we've got the planning to convert this into a beautiful building full of amenities. Lakeside is our first project that we've done outside of Birmingham, with a gym, cinema, all the kind of built-in amenities to make sure that the tenants are well looked after. And this is where we can charge over the years premium rents, because people are gonna want to live in this location. They're gonna want to be in this building because of its offering, its location, what it's got to offer, etc., etc. So this is where you get long-term tenants, where you've got fantastic, beautiful buildings like this, which are in great locations. Yeah, we covered this. So rental yields are up to 7%, which is fantastic. We all know that in Nottingham, there is over 2 billion worth of local investment that's obviously going into the city centre. And again, that's one of the reasons why we would go to such a prime location to do a development like this, because that's where capital appreciation attracts. It attracts places that are going through a regeneration, that are looking prettier, and the infrastructure is getting better over the years. That's the places that you invest, because of obviously obvious reasons, of course. But yeah, this is the building. So we have a courtyard in the middle, 2 wings, 106 apartments. We launched not so long ago, and properties are going really fast on this site, because this is like the best what you could get in a location like this, with all the amenity offerings, for £164,000. So we're giving you a kind of a big city amenity styled apartment block for £1,700 per month savings plan. That's crazy. Yeah. It's mental, but yeah, this is what it's all about. 16% growth over the next 3 years. Is that something that you want to achieve? Do we want to achieve 5% growth of 164,000? Maybe it's attractive to you, maybe it's not. Maybe you want more. But yeah, this is definitely a fantastic location and a product to kind of add to your portfolio. Once we get you in front of Thierry and you have your kind of one-on-one consultation, we'll show you more on a one-to-one presentation in regards to the intricate detail and the maps, the location, the amenities that it surrounds, all the kind of good points and the compelling stuff of why we feel as a developer it's a great site to invest in. Because what you got to remember is we wouldn't be developing in such a location if we didn't think it would be successful. And we've done a lot of schemes in and around Nottingham. It's one of our most kind of, popular regions and locations for doing development science. But you're very, very close to the universities. You're very close to the airport. You commute about to London. You commute about to Birmingham. Nottingham is basically like the central of the UK, and you can access anywhere. So if I'm a working professional and I live in Newcastle and I travel down to London or travel down to Cambridge 4 times a week, Nottingham's on my way, and Nottingham has affordable rents, but the rents are growing every year. So that would be the next biggest city that I would stop at to be located, because it's commute about, great prices. I can find good, affordable, accommodation if I'm traveling down to Cambridge 3 days a week. Because trying to set up in Cambridge, guys, you might want to go and check out the price, but commuters won't do that because it's so expensive. And that's the point. This is a commute about product. And that's why we say it's so important to be in and around infrastructure. Like Terry's experience about being in London, and wanting to obviously access, different locations, towns, cities, and places in and around London. If you're not where it is, you can spend a fortune getting around, but you want to be where the train lines are, where the tram lines are, so it's convenient for you to get to where you need to be. These are the amenities that the property has to offer: concierge, residence lounge, shared lounge, courtyard, meeting room, cinema room, everything wrapped up in a bubble at Lakeside. So these are studios and 1-bedroom apartments only, with the option of buying a parking space. Yeah? Clear? How do you find that, Terry? All good?
All good, very clear.
Fantastic stuff. Like I said to you before, once we obviously get in front of you, we talk to you about the more kind of detailed information. We can go through these bits and pieces. We've got lots of nice sales material and client-facing material that we can show you and share with you to give you this information in regards to train stations, city centre, motorway links, airports, all the different things that we know creates demand for good property like Lakeside. And a couple of interior shots. So it's a really good product, and I can guarantee you will not find a better product than this, specification-wise, amenity-wise, location-wise. Guess what? All with a payment plan. Absolutely not. You won't be able to. It's impossible. Lots of amenities, lots of spaces for tenants in-house, which is fantastic. Nottingham is voted in the top 10 best places to live by the Sunday Times. This is fantastic. This is actually the river, what we called it Lakeside, because it's very close to this river where you can obviously go for a nice tranquil walk in the mornings. You can go for a cycle, a run, out of the hustle and bustle, guys. So you're close enough to be by the city centre, but enough to be in a more of a tranquil space where you've got a bit of greenery and a bit of park space to go and enjoy as a working professional. These are a couple of shots from the brochure. So you got your cinema lounge, and a couple of shots, obviously, from the brochure in regards to Nottingham itself. So Nottingham is a great place to be, great population growth, great big employers. The education sector is absolutely mega. They look after Nottingham in itself. The 2 universities look after something like 75,000 students, UK and overseas. So a very, very young, diverse audience. I always say to Terry and his team, what do you think these students do once they've finished their education? They've been in Nottingham studying at Nottingham Trent University for the last 5 years. Where do they go? What do they do after 5-6 years? They go back to mummy and daddy for a holiday. If that's Singapore, Dubai, South Africa, they end up migrating with their friends, don't they? And end up securing a job in the place that they've been living the last 5 years because they know that location really well. So we're putting up with the demand of this constant rotating wheel of graduates coming through the other end and then wanting to be located in such a region because they can access London, they can access Birmingham, they can get to Manchester and Newcastle, being in a great city, which is really affordable. and has everything running for it. So that's what Nottingham has to offer. Fantastic infrastructure upgrades taking place, billions of pounds being spent on the Nottingham, city centre. The migration rate for people living and working in this location is shot through the sky, and obviously the Grade A office space for big employers like Rolls-Royce, Toyota, Bombardier, all these big employers are all located in the East Midlands, and there's always new jobs, new opportunities, new things going on where people need homes. We're an island, and the island is not getting any bigger, but guess what? The people that we attract to the UK, the housing demand is not keeping up, guys. So that's one note to leave with you. Was that okay, Terry, for Lakeside, Nottingham? Anything that I didn't cover? I'm pretty sure that was a bit of a taster for anybody that is interested in finding more about the payment plan, how it can specifically help them and their situation, their capital and their needs, but also giving them access to a fantastic site that is giving them a 16% growth on the headline over the next 3 years. And when we say these forecasted figures, guys, these are all by Savills and Knight Frank. You can see all the reports on these to back up what we say. We don't pluck figures out of the air. We always go by the big industry experts that tell us, what's the forecasted growth for and they do that from the past experience and obviously all the activity that's happening in that specific area at the time. So small economies like Birmingham, Nottingham are doing really well in the UK, and this is the time to buy, because all you're going to see is the snowball get bigger and bigger and bigger as prices get bigger, because the demand for the product is always going to be there. We're never going to have oversupply in these locations because it's just impossible. Right then, Thierry. So we're going to move on to Southside Residences. This is one of my favourite projects. And if I wasn't already investing with Prosperity on another site where they're taking all my money every month, I'll be definitely into one of these sites, Southside and Lakeside. But it's always the ways that you take one and then something else sweeter comes along. It's mental. So, Southside Residences. This is our new build Birmingham city centre development. This is in a B5 location, which is south side of Birmingham city centre core. We're offering a 24-month payment plan on this product. Birmingham have only been recently kind of introduced to the huge amenity offering when it comes to service buildings with all the amenities. So this building, unfortunately, we spec'd this building and designed this some time ago. And this is the newest planned revised options for Southside Residences. And it doesn't come with, your 24/7 concierge and all your bits, because this is in the middle of town. So you've got your gym around the corner. You've got all your amenity space and your public squares. And because this is like right prime in Birmingham's hustle and bustle area, the B5. So a really, really kind of good looking product. This is a bit of an older map, actually. But you can see we've got a lot of car parks. The majority of these car parks are now being built. So this one's been built. This was the timber yard by Galliard that was built. This one's been built out as well. We've got Galliard that's doing another big site down here. We've got the Smithfield Master Plan, which is here. So any of you that don't know the Smithfield Master Plan, that is Europe's biggest city centre redevelopment project happening right now. And it's going to be public and leisure facilities, which is like a public square like South Bank in London, where you got the London Eye and everyone goes and hangs out and enjoys the space. So it'd be Birmingham's biggest public square. Over 1 million square foot of office spaces. tram infrastructure that would take them down to the HS2 high-speed train to London. There'll be a small element of residential, which will obviously be provided for there as well. Indoor, outdoor retail and markets. And then there'll be various other amenities like pocket parks, greenery, and other bits and pieces as well. So this is like the new extended core of Birmingham city centre, which is extended the footfall from the Birmingham Bullring area here. So you have Birmingham Bullring, New Street Station, which is right next to it, and then you got the Smithfield Master Plan, which is just below. Southside Residences is less than a 5-minute walk to New Street Station and all these areas around here. So this is prime town. They call it the Chinese Quarter. This is called the Arcadian Centre and Chinatown. This is called the Chinese Quarter of Birmingham. Very developed, already established, already collecting premium rentals. So the rentals around that part of Birmingham are incredible. If you want to be a working professional and live in this part of town, you know you've got to be paying the amount to live in this location because it's premium. We have a lot of creative experts, a lot of digital marketers, book writers, publishers, freehands, because this is like the creative Shoreditch area of Birmingham, which is just amazing. I was only at the site the weekend with a client that came over to see me from the Netherlands, and they came over to walk the street to Birmingham just to understand the sites and where things are located. And this was one of their favourite locations where we've got this specific site, because the site's fully demolished now, ready to start building out. But the way you could see the blocks and where things are set out and how easy it is to access Smithfield, the Bullring, the city centre, people, you can just see, what this is going to do furthermore. So for this location in Birmingham itself, Birmingham is forecasted at something like 24.5% growth over the next 5 years. So the same kind of concept, when we do the 5% res, and then you start in with your 1% payment per month, we're giving you access to exchange on a project or a property that's worth 230 grand. But over that time, over the next 5 years, your compounding growth of 235,000, which is forecasted at 5% growth per annum, and that's big money. That's money that you won't get back from a savings plan. A savings plan won't give you that type of returns. Guess what? And you still have the asset, which is beautiful. So when we get these returns in growth in 5 years' time, and we look to refinance the products and draw equity out, and then the products will carry on performing for you, paying for itself through rental income, we've still got the asset to sell it or exit on if we want to. So you can either use the equity to invest in other products or just leave it running again to do the same again. And that's what we do with Birmingham Property. It's all about looking for a medium to long-term investment, guys. And that's what property does. Property is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it's a get-wealthy slow scheme that will bring you some serious wealth and give you options to either retire early or use it for leverage, whatever you want to do. It has the power to do, which is fantastic. Southside Residences has some fantastic specifications in regards to finishes. You got your satin matte lacquered kitchens with your quartz worktops, all your appliances that are added in, dishwashers, fridge freezer, washer dryer, cooker hob, etc., etc. All apartments come with their own sprinkler system as well. We've done this one with a bit of a featured rustic industrial wall. So all the apartments will have like a featured wall, and then obviously your herringbone hardware and flooring as well. So Southside and Birmingham is kind of known for its kind of rustic and industrial past. So this is why we've created like these type of interiors now that kind of match that theme, and it's very robust as well, guys. It lasts, which is great. And this is what working professionals want, because it's such a nice product. Any questions, Thierry? So that's a bit of just a preview on these bits, guys. So what my recommendation would be is definitely lock in with Thierry. We want to understand your plans for the next 3 to 5 to 10 years. We want to be able to make a tailor-made plan for you. If we can involve property, I think property is obviously a fantastic serving asset that will bring you wealth. If you like it or not, it will do it anyway, because the locations that we go to, it's only places that are moving forward, which is great. But yeah, when you've got good products that will last and will be robust and that are at demand, this is a winning formula for UK property. Many people have got aspirations to invest in the UK, maybe because we've got a very strict legal and conveyancing system. So we've got the most black and white legal conveyancing system around the world. So things are black and white. If the developer says that he is developing a project by this date, by this spec, and you get a contract that says so, that's what we have to do. Because it's very strict when you get the lawyers and all the bits and pieces involved. So a lot of people flood to the UK because they like that. It's just straightforward. We'll get you where you need to be, get you handed over, and get you sorted. And again, UK properties always growing. So yeah, we've got this population growth at the moment that is just moving crazily, which is great for us, but it's all about being a UK landlord as soon as possible. Get into that market, get your foot into the market, because once you've got the first one, you've got doors that will open for you. So you might have kids that are coming to the UK furthermore down the line, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years that are coming to study at university. You've got UK property that's bringing in an income. We can do anything with that. We can obviously use the income. We can refinance the products to pay for another property or do something else. There's lots of options. You can use it for your children's school fees. Terry's obviously the specialist in how to manage and structure different investments. So he was the best one to advise of how you can structure that up the way. But there's loads of options when it comes to buying into UK property. You just get lots of doors that open, which is fantastic. Reservation process, again, it'll be something that we talk to you more specifically when we sit down with Terry. Once you obviously get through to the more advanced stages, Terry will also let me know if you want to sit down and have a bit of a Zoom with myself. I'm more than happy to see you again and talk you through the process and answer any questions you have or any uncertainties that you've got, to kind of make sure that everything is very, very clear, because that's what we want. We want excited clients that want to grow, and retirement's not an age, right? It's not an age. So why don't we build property and build a portfolio to get us to a number that's our all-time magic number, where we can go, right, yeah, all right, I am earning X amount a month. This can fund me to go on my world cruises that I've always wanted to do and take my children, or whatever you want to do. So let's do it. Yeah. I think that's about it for now, Terry. Any questions? I'm sure I've kind of covered lots of bases there, but anything that I haven't covered, I'm more than happy to answer. Is there any questions?
You covered everything.
Yeah.
We've reached the hour, but just the most common question that kept coming, which I already know you do, is that you do assist Africans acquire mortgages, right? And you also assist, you manage the property for them, so they don't necessarily have to fly, look for tenants, do the whole get a call 2 a.m. to say,
oh God, you don't want that, of course. Yeah. So this is, I want everyone to feel that this is going to be a complete hands-off investment opportunity. Obviously, I'm not going to say to everybody that, throughout the process, there is going to be things that are going to be required from the lawyers, and you're going to be doing your AML checks and your different things. And then when you get to mortgages, there's going to be lots of hands-on work that your mortgages are going to need in regards to proof of funding, and they'll be asking for certain things. All that is just a nitty-gritty of getting your money on the table, getting your AML done, and getting your process. So that's things outside of Prosperity. So I don't want you to feel that, we're saying that it's really easy, guys, but there is things that you are going to be required to do and make some time to put some documents and a few things across for that process so we can get you to where you need to be. But other than that, development-wise, we'll stick to what we do best. Deliver you a great product, give you a great payment plan, make it affordable. We'll keep you low exposed. We'll show you the updates. We get you through on your tailor-made plan. We'll deliver the scheme. We'll get it rented for you. We'll make sure that we select the right and the best tenancies with references and also the lenders. And then most importantly of all, we'll talk about a tailor-made plan, how we can help you build further wealth. If anybody requires a fact find, so we can do a fact find if you're still a bit unsure about financing because maybe your passport or your location, we can do that prior to hand. So you just let us know anything you need and we'll provide the comfort to make sure that you're in the right space to get you to where you need to be so we can move things forward.
No, thank you so much, Udell, for taking this time.
You're very welcome.
And
no problem at all. Anything else, Terry? Anything else that we can think of? I hope the bells are going to go flooding now. Everyone's going to be contacting you now for tailor-made plans to sit down and understand how they can afford to access the UK market and really take advantage of these regions and their growth. Because guess what? If not, they will see us again present in a couple of years' time and going, oh, yeah, we should have done that when we should have done that because now look at the prices. And that always happens. I've been doing this business for far too long and I've seen it happen. But it's great.
Thank you so much, Udell. And
you're very welcome.
Definitely be having quite a few new UK landlords.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. No problem at all. Well, thank you very much for your time today, guys. I really appreciate everybody locking in and listening what we've got to offer. This is just a taster. We do products beyond, but yeah, these are the latest products that we really want to show you how you can access those and do a tailor-made plan and show you how we can make it work for you.